before I got cut off, is that Russia is the new world power. And in my last video, I don't know where it cut off at, but um, Russia has all the cards. And as Trump mentioned last time when Zelensky was in the White House, is that Zelensky has no cards. Also, Trump was referring to himself. We have no cards, and you're playing World War Three, and you have no cards because the only way um, America can maybe try to regain some leverage over Russia is to start World War Three, and um, I don't think I don't think Trump wants World War Three, which is I'm very glad that he won as opposed to Kamala Harris. Kamala Harris would have dived in headfirst into World War Three against Russia. So um, I am thankful for that. However, uh, Trump is trying to figure out a way um, to get out of this looking good for the United States. The only thing is that Trump operates in a perfect world, perfect deals, these court cases, perfect, uh, golf courses, perfect, hotels, perfect, family businesses, perfect. And his frustration is that he has come finally in a bump in the road. Well, I wouldn't say all his businesses were perfect. They had his casinos. That's why his hotels in Vegas don't have casinos, but that's a whole nother video. Um, I guess Trump, realistically, I mean, he puts on the face. Realistically, Trump has been through failure, and so uh, I guess this is his way of dealing with the failure of the whole Russia Ukraine. And again, it doesn't. I don't think it falls on Donald Trump. I think it falls on the Biden administration. But being that Trump is president, one of the job descriptions is that you have to take on the prior president's mess. If you decide you want to be president and the president before you was horrible, you have to clean up all of his mess. It's just the way it is. And what I fear is that they will put the blame on Donald Trump as to putting the blame on Biden because Biden presidency is when all this went down. So I hope you guys will understand this when this finally does unfold. They're going to blame Trump. They're going to say, oh, it's Trump's fault. Trump is the reason why Ukraine lost. Ukraine already lost. Ukraine was never winning. But this is the perfect time for, if you listen to the mainstream media, to fall into that trap. Well, it's Trump's fault that Ukraine lost the war when Ukraine had already lost the war even before Trump got there. And that's why on this channel, I have showed y'all. I have always known the narrative that they were going to lose, but I didn't know that they were going to. I foresee that they had what I predicted is that they are going to blame Trump for the loss of Ukraine. So um, they're going to try to magnify that blemish on Trump's record as uh, I think they're going to try to use that. Now, the thing is, the midterms are coming up. They can't use the economy. They can't use The only thing they can use is the loss of Ukraine, but that means Ukraine would have to surrender before the midterms. And I think this prolonging the war, Trump is using that to prevent that so that he can win in the midterms and so that he can retain the House and the Senate. So that's the only thing that I could think of his frustration is that he doesn't want Trump knows Ukraine is going to lose, but it's all about timing with Trump. If he can sustain Ukraine's, give the appearance that they're still fighting and no, we're fighting, blah blah blah. Uh, as long, oh shoot, hold on. As long as and I think this is what the Congress, the House, and all that they're trying to sustain this war to where it looks like Trump is where Trump would win the House and the Senate because right now the Democrats, and shout out to Miss Rowland, she did a show yesterday on this. The Democrats are trying to figure out how to get the mail votes because they cannot move forward without the mail votes. And the mail vote simply is this: we're concerned about offense and defense when it comes to the United States of America. Keep that in mind: offense and defense, because the economy is building back up, so that's good. However, the Ukraine war is of concern. Men are concerned about our safety. If I mean, are we going to wake up and be nuked one day? This is a legitimate concern. So, in the back of our minds, and then it's just that the narratives, policies. Now we're on the level of policies, and the Democrats are not on the level of policies. The Democrats are still on the level of catering to women and gay men, and not Trump's male base. That's I would say impossible to take away from Trump. And so, um, the only thing that they can come up with is now. I will say this, when I went to the rallies, everybody applauded, the economy, most domestic stuff. I think I was the only person that stood up during the Atlanta rally. Oh, and Trump's doing the Pennsylvania rally too, by the way. I'll probably stream it. Oh, it's today. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to stream it today, but I will be watching it and I'll post it. But being that Trump, you know, I stood up. I was the only one that stood up in his rally in Atlanta when he talked about ending the war in Ukraine. Everybody else was like, huh? Oh, what's that got to do with us? And so I'm assuming at this point that most of Trump's male base, uh, most males that voted for Trump are happy with the economy, are concerned about, job growth, profiting, housing, that kind of stuff, and not being dependent on the government. So the Democrats will not win in midterm because they are still not understanding that men, we like money, we like success, we like, and Trump embodies all that. And there's nobody on the Democratic side who's embodying that type of success. We like, as men, we like success. So that's that. The war will not affect Trump in the elections because a lot of men are not even focused. They're focused on here first. Me myself, I'm focused on the outside because I have outside interests, and so that's why I do what I do as far as this channel, because I know Trump has it on the domestic end. It's the foreign end that I'm concerned about, which is tougher. Trump has his genius mentality because there's not that many geniuses here domestically in the U.S., but outside, there are other geniuses that are like that can give Trump a run for the money. That being Xi Jinping, that being Vladimir Putin, and that being other world leaders, Benjamin Netanyahu. Yeah, these people are very smart, and so when Trump is on an even playing field with these other people, and he's not able to outmaneuver a Vladimir Putin, he gets flustered. He gets very frustrated, and so I do understand his frustration. However, he has to Trump has to walk away from this war, and everybody in Trump's cabinet is not the smartest cookie. Um, that being Marco Rubio, that being Marco Rubio's, he's a war hawk, and he's not. Trump is not surrounded by excellent people like Putin is. Putin is surrounded by excellent people like Sergei Lavrov, excellent, Medvedev, excellent. Who else? I mean, his whole cabinet, his advisors are top notch. All of Trump's advisors are not top notch. They're not top notch, and so uh, it makes Trump puts Trump in a position of being at a slight disadvantage. And so, because Trump is at a slight disadvantage in getting not all the information, I don't know if he's getting all the information or not. Trump should have known that Kiev sent drones to try to assassinate Putin, and Putin retaliated. And when Trump was asked about that, Trump was like, I don't know nothing about that. I find that hard to believe, but then again, the media and his cabinet have a habit of ignoring stuff. And so this ignorance, maybe Trump didn't get that information. I'm starting to believe Trump didn't get that information um, that Kiev tried to assassinate Putin. So, um, being that Russia is more in tune, and Putin has a cabinet that's more in tune, therefore that makes Russia the world power. That makes Russia slightly smarter strategically in not only the battlefield because they have the upper hand, but even in negotiations. I mean, and even if so, what's going to happen? Let me just summarize this thing. There's not going to be no negotiating settlement with this war. The war is going to be fought on the battlefield. Russia has already crushed Ukraine, so now it's all about will NATO jump in, including America. And I don't advise America to do that. I pray and hope America doesn't jump in this war. But if NATO jumps in it, Russia will defeat them. Even if, I'm going to say it, y'all, even if America jumps in with NATO and fights Russia on their territory, we're going to lose. How do I know this? We lost in Afghanistan. We've lost in Vietnam. We lost in North Korea. And we just lost against the Houthis. We lost against some Islamic gold herders. So it's not looking good. Us fighting other territories. It's just not a good look. It's not going to work to our advantage. So hopefully Trump will walk away from the Ukraine situation and hopefully soon because the longer this war prolongs, the weaker we get and the stronger Russia gets. So let me give a shout out to Mac Shout out to Mac. Mac's the only one to leave a like, so you're the only one to give a shout out, man. Whoever didn't leave a like, fuck you. Straight up. Because I'm tired of damn asking for likes and y'all damn, yeah, I'm tired of that shit, man. If you ain't left a like, fuck you. But if you leave a like, thank you. But if not, shout out to you, Mac. You left a like. To the other two, fuck y'all. With that being said, I'm out, y'all. Peace.